The AlphaRex LUXX-Series LED Projector Headlights are a great fit for your 2018 to 2020 F-150 if you're after enhanced style and lighting output. The LUXX series bring a clean, modern look and updated LED lighting elements to the table with a few extra tricks up their sleeve as well. Just a quick note on fitment here before we dive in. These headlights are designed to fit 2018 to 2020 F-150s that were originally equipped with factory halogen headlights. Upgrading from halogens to LEDs is going to make a massive improvement in visibility, and the LUXX series lights that we have here certainly accomplish that with some nice visual updates to go along with it. While the lighting improvement is important, I want to touch on the stylistic elements here first. You've got matte black internal housings that give these a much more aggressive look as compared to your standard halogens. So no matter what color truck you mount these up on, these are going to look great and all that much more sinister. The visual updates continue with these large fiber optic style LED light bars around the outer edges. Not only do these look cool, but they also function as your daytime running lights and they double as your turn signals. So these are switchbacks. You have the option to have these light up white when they function as the DRL and then switch to amber when you activate the turn signals. Your turn signals are also sequential here, making them just that much cooler. Now you can also choose to have those daytime running lights run in amber all the time, which gives you a bit more of that Raptor type style. These do retain your factory incandescent bulbs for the running lights in the center here with AlphaRex's signature claw style lenses. And if these look a bit like what you'd find on a Raptor of this generation, well, that is definitely not by accident. These are meant to evoke that same type of style and again bring an updated look to your truck. Now the main lighting elements here are of course the two large circular projectors. These are super bright and they're going to way outshine your factory halogens for a clean, crisp cutoff and a wide beam pattern. Now the top one is going to function as your low beam with the bottom one jumping in for the high beam. The other fun trick that these have up their sleeves is the activation light sequence. So that is basically a sequential light show that's going to happen when you lock or unlock the truck, and it adds that OEM type of feel and integration. Construction here is all pretty first rate as well. The outer housings are made from polypropylene and they feature the black inner housings with clear polycarbonate lenses over top. So you get that blacked out stealthy type of look without having to sacrifice lighting output. The lenses also have an anti-fog agent and yet another coating on the outside to help keep them clear and prevent fading and yellowing. On the back, you're going to find some breather vents to prevent fogging and integrated adjusters, which makes these fully DOT, SAE, and FMV SS108 approved, meaning that they are fully street legal. Now inside, these do feature specifically designed LED chips for superior light output and longevity, though they are, of course, going to retain factory style incandescent bulbs for those center lights that are the turn signals and running lights. Pricing comes in at about $950 for the pair, and for a set of LED lights that integrate and look like these do, that I think makes these a comparatively good value. You're saving a bit versus some of the other options in the category, mainly by keeping that incandescent bulb for the marker light in the center, but you're not sacrificing style or functionality, and you can always upgrade that bulb to LED later on if you want, and we've got plenty of choices for that on our site. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 1 hour to complete. These are designed to be totally plug and play, so you don't need to wire or do any permanent modifications to your truck. You are of course going to have to take off your grill, but we're going to walk you through the entire installation process step by step right now. So for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 13 millimeter sockets, needle nose pliers, wire strippers and crimpers, a clip removal tool, and also not included with your kit but will be needed is a fuse tab. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing some headlights on our F-150, but before we get started we're going to send you to watch a quick video on how to remove your factory headlights, and we'll see you when you get back.
First thing we need to do to remove our headlights is remove this filler panel underneath our grill. And to do that, there are 2 screws on either end of this filler panel in the fender lip area. Then we're going to use our 7 millimeter socket to remove those 2 screws on each side. All right, so we've got 2 7 millimeter bolts right here on the inside of the fender lip. So we're going to go ahead and remove those with our 7 millimeter socket. And now you can remove the 2 screws on the other side of the vehicle. Now with our screws removed, we can just grab a hold of the inside edge of this filler panel and start pulling it away. It's only held in with plastic clips, so we just grab a hold give it a tug, and start pulling it away. Next thing we're going to do is remove our radiator shroud here, and we've got 14 push pins that we need to remove. To do that, we're going to use our trim removal tool and just pop these up out of the way. Now with the push pins removed, we should just be able to lift this up and pull it away. All right, next we've got a couple of connectors here that need to be disconnected. Depending on the configuration of your truck, you may have one or two, but let's go ahead and get those disconnected first, and then we'll remove the 4 10mm bolts on top to go ahead and remove our grill. So here are our connectors. You're just gonna reach in, push down on the release lever, and disconnect it. Same thing for the other one. Now, like I said, you may have one or more. Just push in on the release lever and pop it out. Now you may also have a plastic push pin connector right here to hold the harness in place. Ours happens to be missing, but just go ahead and pop that out with your trim removal tool, and then we can remove the 4 bolts on the top. Now we've got 2 13mm bolts, one in the corner here and one on the other side of the grill. So we'll go ahead and remove those, and then we can slide our grill out. All right, now just grab a hold of your grill and pull it straight back. All right, now we're ready to remove our headlight. And to do that, we've got 2 10mm screws at the top here, plus this plastic push pin. So we'll use our trim removal tool to remove the plastic push pin and our 10mm socket to remove those 2 bolts. All right, now we've got 3 more to remove at the bottom here. We've got an 8mm here on the inside, a 10mm next to it, and another 10mm on the outside. So we'll go ahead and take those out. And now we get our 8mm. All right, now we need to separate this plastic trim piece at the bottom from our headlight. So we'll use our trim removal tool and just pry this down and get it separated. And then we can go ahead and pull our headlight straight back. Now we can disconnect our 3 connectors at the back of our light simply by pushing in on the release lever on the connector and pulling it straight back. And now you can repeat that process for the other light.
Alrighty folks, welcome back. Now that we have our factory lights out, it's time to begin setting up to install our new headlights. Now, this headlight does come with an activation harness to make sure some of the features of your new headlights work properly. What we're going to need to do first is grab a fuse tap. Now, these do not come with your kit, but you will need it. So you can run to any automotive parts store, pick up a pack of these for super cheap. Once you have that, you're going to grab wire crimpers and crimp that onto the gray wire. They always come with a butt connector on the one side. So we'll get our gray wire of our harness into that. And we'll crimp this down. I always like to give a small tug on anything I crimp just to make sure the connection is nice and secure. And once we have that done, we're going to come over to our fuse block and remove the cover. So it has two sections to it. You want to remove this smaller one first, just push in on that tab, pop that up and away, and then the larger section that covers your fuses. Now we're going to be tapping into fuse number 36. Now these are not numbered, but if you come in here, it's going to be the third row back behind this main relay, and the 10 amp fuse up in here. So we're going to grab needle nose pliers, pop this fuse out very carefully. We're going to grab our fuse tap, and it should have one fuse in it and an open slot. So we're going to add that 10 amp fuse we just took out into that slot. And this fuse tap is going to go right in where that came out. Now that we've got that seated, put our fuse block cover back on. Now if you want to get a better fit at home of your fuse block cover, you can notch out an area for that wire to come through. For demonstration purposes, we're not going to cut into our fuse block cover. We'll get that back into place. Now we're going to come to our battery, where we need to hook our positive and negative connectors to our battery for our harness. So we're going to remove the cover off our positive terminal. So now that we've got our fuse tap in place, we're going to come over to our battery because we need to hook up our positive and negative connectors on our harness to our battery. So we've got the cover removed off of our positive terminal. And we're going to hook our positive connector on first using our 11mm socket. We'll back this nut off just a little bit. You can slide that connector under that nut. It is open-ended. Just want to seat that. Tighten that right back down. Now for our negative connector, we're going to come over here with our 10mm socket. Loosen up our pinch nut. Slide this connector in and tighten that back down. Now we can route the legs of our harness to our respective headlight areas. Now you've got a shorter leg and a longer leg. The shorter leg is going to come right to the passenger side headlight area. You want to tuck that behind the main rad support. Get that into your headlight area so we can plug that in. Then we're going to route the longer leg over to the driver's side the same way. Now you can route this however you'd like. Just want to make sure it is out of the way of any hot or moving parts so you don't damage the harness or your vehicle. Now we can begin installing our headlights. So we're going to plug our headlight in. Now our factory plug, we're going to go right back behind this adapter harness that's already on our headlight. Snap that one in, that's going to be your black connector. Your brown one is going to go onto this adapter harness, just like so. Marker light connector is going to go in that factory style gray one. Make sure that snaps into place. And then for that harness we added, it has a bullet connector on the end of it. It's going to go into this white wire. Put that in place. Once you have everything connected, set this into our headlight bucket area. Get this lined up like so, and we can reinstall all of our hardware. Now we're going to start by getting our two 10mm screws back in up top. Ours are pretty stripped out, but that's okay. Then we'll get our lower 10mm on the outside and our 8mm up front. Now we'll grab our 8mm socket and get our 8mm screw back in. Now we'll get our last 10mm screw in place down here on the outside. And once you've got this side in, you can repeat the same process for the other side, and we'll reinstall our grille, trim, and upper shroud. Now that we've got both headlights in, we're going to reinstall our grille. We're going to carefully line this back up. Try not to scratch your new headlights. Set that in place. And we can reinstall our 4 10mm screws up top and our 2 13s down below. So now we'll grab our 10mm socket and get our 4 screws back in up top. Next we can plug our grille components back in. Make sure they lock back into place. And then we'll reinstall our upper shroud while we're up here. Get our shroud in place. Now we're just going to use this to kind of tuck our wiring. You want to make sure you lift up on this air ram. Get back into place. And make sure everything sits well and lines up, and we'll reinstall all of our push clips. Couple on each end just to hold it in place. Now that we have everything up top buttoned up, we'll reinstall our 2 13mm screws at the bottom of our grille with our 13mm socket. Once you have this one in, you can do the same thing for the other side. Now we can line our front trim piece back up. Get that centered, push that right back into place, and we'll get our sides back in. Now we'll get these side sections lined back up of our trim. Come on and just push it. Sometimes it'll fall right into place like that. Make sure it's nice and secure, and we'll reinstall our 2 7mm screws. Now we'll get our 7mm screws back in place with our 7mm socket. Once you have this side on, you can repeat the same process for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our AlphaRex LUXX-Series LED Projector Headlights with black housings and clear lenses for your 18 to 20 F-150 with factory halogen headlights. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.